Have you ever gone an entire day without feeling comfortable? Maybe 2 days? Or even longer? You try to ignore it. You tell yourself it'll pass. But instead, you start feeling heavy, bloated, uncomfortable. Even sitting in your favorite chair doesn't feel quite right anymore. For many adults over 60, this isn't something they like talking about. In fact, it's one of the most common health concerns people keep to themselves because, let's be honest, constipation isn't exactly dinner table conversation, but that doesn't make it any less real. As we get older, our digestive system naturally changes. Daily routines change. Activity levels may change. Even the foods we've eaten for years can affect us differently. The good news? Sometimes the biggest improvements don't begin with expensive products. They begin in your own kitchen. That's exactly what we're going to explore today. We'll look at 6 everyday foods that deserve a place in your grocery cart if staying regular has become more challenging after 60. But before we begin, there's one simple mistake many people make every morning. It's so common. Most don't even realize they're doing it, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what it is. So make sure you stay with me, because the very first food on today's list has been quietly helping people for generations. You'll find it in grocery stores across America. Some people keep it in the pantry, others only buy it around the holidays. Many people know it's sweet. Few realize why it has earned such a strong reputation when it comes to supporting regular digestion. And that's where we'll begin. 1. Prunes. Dried plums. Prunes have been a trusted household food for decades. Long before health trends came and went, families were already keeping them in the kitchen. And there's a good reason they've stood the test of time. Prunes naturally provide dietary fiber. They also contain sorbitol, a naturally occurring sugar alcohol found in the fruit. Together, these can help support regular bowel movements as part of a balanced diet. That's one reason prunes are often one of the first foods people think about when constipation becomes an occasional problem. Here's something else worth thinking about. Constipation isn't always about eating too little. Sometimes it's about eating too little fiber. Your digestive system depends on regular fiber intake, and foods like prunes make that easier without requiring complicated recipes. But remember, fiber works best when it has enough water to work with. That's why drinking enough fluids throughout the day is just as important as choosing fiber-rich foods. Think of them as partners. They work better together. Now, let's move on to another food. Unlike the first one, most people don't associate this fruit with digestive health. Many buy it simply because it tastes refreshing. Others walk right past it without giving it a second thought. It's easy to pack, easy to enjoy, and doesn't require any cooking at all. Sometimes, the simplest foods end up offering more than we expect. That's especially true when it comes to building everyday habits that are easy to maintain. Because, let's face it, the healthiest routine is usually the one you'll actually keep, not for a week, but for years. So, what is it? 2. Kiwi. Kiwi may be small, but it deserves a place on today's list. It naturally provides fiber along with plenty of water. That combination can help support healthy digestion as part of a balanced diet. Many people enjoy kiwi because it's quick. Slice it in half, scoop it with a spoon, or peel and slice it into a fruit salad. No complicated preparation, no special recipe. Just another easy choice that fits naturally into your day. Here's something many people don't think about. Digestive health isn't usually influenced by one meal. It's the result of what you eat consistently over time. One day of healthy eating probably won't change much, but weeks and months of balanced choices can make a real difference in how you feel. That's why simple foods matter so much. When they're easy to enjoy, you're much more likely to keep eating them. And consistency is often where the biggest benefits come from. Now here's a question. How often do you start your morning with something quick, only to feel hungry again not long afterward? It happens more often than people realize. That's one reason breakfast deserves a little more attention after 60. The foods you choose early in the day can influence how you feel for the rest of it. And the next food has quietly earned its place on breakfast tables across America for generations. It isn't expensive. It doesn't require fancy ingredients. And chances are, you've probably enjoyed it more times than you can count. Let's see why it belongs on today's list. 3. Oatmeal. Few breakfasts are as comforting as a warm bowl of oatmeal. It's simple, filling, and easy to prepare. But oatmeal offers more than comfort. It naturally contains soluble fiber. One type is called beta-glucan. As part of a balanced diet, this kind of fiber helps support healthy digestion. That's one reason oatmeal has remained a favorite breakfast for generations. Another advantage? It's incredibly versatile. Add fresh fruit, sprinkle on a few chopped nuts, mix in cinnamon, or top it with a few chopped prunes from earlier in today's list. Small additions like these can make breakfast both satisfying and nutritious. Here's another habit worth thinking about. Some people skip breakfast because they're not hungry. Others rush through it with processed foods that leave them feeling hungry again before lunchtime. Taking a few extra minutes to enjoy a balanced breakfast can help set the tone for the rest of the day. And that's exactly what we're trying to build. Not temporary diets, not extreme changes, just realistic habits that fit into everyday life. Because the easier something is to continue, the more likely it becomes part of your routine. Now, the next food surprises a lot of people. Most think of it as a sweet snack. Others simply toss it into a lunch bag without another thought. But there's another reason it deserves your attention, one that has nothing to do with satisfying a sweet tooth, and everything to do with supporting healthy digestion after 60. Here's something many people overlook. When constipation becomes more common, the answer usually isn't finding one special food. It's creating a pattern of eating foods that naturally provide fiber and plenty of water throughout the day. Those small choices, breakfast, lunch, dinner, even your snacks, all work together. That's why consistency matters so much. Healthy digestion is often supported by everyday habits, not one-time solutions. So, what is this next food? 4. Pears. Pears have been enjoyed for generations. They're naturally sweet, easy to pack, and simple to include in everyday meals. But they also bring something else to the table. Pears naturally provide fiber along with a high water content. That combination makes them another excellent choice for supporting healthy digestion as part of a balanced eating pattern. One of the nicest things about pears is how flexible they are. Enjoy one with breakfast. Slice one into a salad. Pair it with a handful of almonds. Or simply keep one nearby for an afternoon snack. Healthy eating becomes much easier when nutritious foods are also convenient. And convenience matters because life doesn't slow down after retirement. You still have errands, doctor's appointments, family gatherings, church, travel, grandkids. The easier healthy foods fit into your schedule, the more likely you'll continue choosing them. That's exactly why pears have remained a favorite in so many households. Now let me mention something that's just as important. Whenever you gradually increase fiber, remember to increase your fluid intake too. Fiber and water work as a team. Without enough fluids, adding more fiber may leave you feeling even more uncomfortable. That's why drinking water throughout the day is one of the simplest habits you can build alongside these foods. Sometimes the smallest reminders make the biggest difference. Now let's move to another food. This one has become much more popular over the past several years. You don't need a large amount. In fact, a little goes a long way. Many people sprinkle it over breakfast. Others stir it into a favorite drink. Some even keep it in the pantry without realizing why it's become such a popular addition to everyday meals. Let's find out what it is. 5. Chia seeds. Chia seeds may be tiny, but they can make a big difference when it comes to adding more fiber to your meals. One reason they've become so popular is because they're incredibly easy to use. You don't need complicated recipes. Simply sprinkle a small amount over oatmeal, mix them into yogurt, blend them into a smoothie, or stir them into overnight oats. That's it. As chia seeds absorb liquid, they develop a soft, gel-like texture. Many people enjoy that texture. Others prefer mixing them into foods where they become barely noticeable. The choice is entirely up to you. What's most important is remembering that chia seeds work best as part of a balanced diet. They're not a miracle ingredient. They're simply another practical way to increase your fiber intake. And just like we talked about earlier, fiber works best alongside enough fluids. So if you're adding chia seeds to your routine, make drinking enough water part of that habit too. Healthy digestion is rarely about doing one thing perfectly. It's about building several small habits that naturally support one another. Now, we've reached the final food on today's list, and honestly, it may be the one people underestimate the most. Some walk right past it every single week. Others only buy it during special occasions, yet it's been part of family dinners for decades. It's affordable, easy to prepare, and available in almost every grocery store. But surprisingly, many people never think about adding it to their regular meals. Not because it's difficult, simply because they've never considered how much it has to offer. Sometimes, the foods we've known the longest are the ones we appreciate the least. So, what is it? 6. Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts have come a long way over the years. If you haven't enjoyed them in a while, you may be pleasantly surprised. Roasting them brings out a rich, slightly sweet flavor that many people never experienced growing up. But taste isn't the only reason they've earned a place on today's list. Brussels sprouts naturally provide fiber, along with several vitamins and minerals that support overall health. That fiber can become part of a balanced eating pattern that supports healthy digestion. The best part, they're incredibly versatile. Roast them in the oven, steam them, saute them with a little olive oil and garlic, or serve them alongside chicken or fish. Healthy eating doesn't have to mean preparing separate meals. Simple additions to foods you already enjoy can make a meaningful difference over time. And that's exactly what today's video has been about. Now let's quickly look back at today's foods. Prunes, kiwi, oatmeal, pears, chia seeds, and Brussels sprouts. None of them are expensive. None require complicated recipes. And every one of them can fit naturally into everyday meals. But before you head to the grocery store, there's one more thing we need to talk about, because even the healthiest foods work best when they're supported by one simple daily habit. And it's something almost everyone can begin today. Think about your daily routine. How much time do you spend sitting? Maybe you're watching television, reading, using the computer, or simply relaxing in your favorite chair. There's nothing wrong with slowing down. But our digestive system also benefits from regular movement. You don't need to join a gym. You don't need an intense workout. In fact, Something as simple as taking a walk after a meal can help your body stay active. Maybe it's a short walk around the block. Maybe it's walking through the grocery store instead of rushing. Maybe it's spending a little time in the garden or playing outside with your grandchildren. Movement doesn't have to be complicated. It simply needs to become part of your everyday life. The same goes for water. Many adults don't realize how easy it is to drink less water as they get older. But staying hydrated supports many normal body functions, including healthy digestion. That's why today's foods work best when they're part of a complete routine: balanced meals, enough fluids, regular movement, and giving your body the consistency it needs. Before we finish, let's take a moment to remember one important thing. Constipation after 60 isn't something you simply have to accept as part of getting older. While occasional constipation can happen for many reasons, your everyday habits still matter. The foods you choose, how much water you drink, how often you move your body. Those small decisions can all work together to support healthy digestion over time. And that's encouraging because it means you don't have to rely on complicated routines. Sometimes, the biggest improvements begin with the simplest choices. Let's quickly go through today's foods one last time. Prunes, kiwi, oatmeal, pears, chia seeds, and Brussels sprouts. Every one of them is easy to find in most American grocery stores. Most are affordable, and all of them can fit naturally into everyday meals without making life more complicated. And here's one more thing I'd like you to remember. Your digestive system doesn't expect perfection. It responds to consistency, a balanced breakfast, enough water throughout the day, a short walk after dinner, a little more fiber than yesterday. Those simple habits may seem small on their own, but together, they can become part of a healthier, more comfortable routine. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of today's foods have you already tried? And which one are you planning to add to your grocery list this week? Share your answer in the comments below. Your experience might help another viewer who's dealing with the very same challenge. And if you found today's video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to 60 Plus Food Guide, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week, we share simple nutrition tips, everyday foods, and practical healthy aging advice designed especially for adults over 60. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.